The call came on an ordinary afternoon, the kind where nothing feels important until suddenly everything does. I was folding a warm pile of laundry on the couch while my daughter, Sophie, sat on the living room rug surrounded by colorful blocks. At 6 years old, she hummed happily to herself, completely focused on building the tallest tower she could manage. My phone buzzed. Emily, 3 weeks before her wedding, I answered with a smile. Hey, what's up? Need help with anything? Her voice was tight, not her usual excited self. Lisa, we need to talk about the wedding. The way she said it made my hands pause mid-fold. Okay, what's going on? She exhaled sharply. Brian and I were going over the guest list again. And we've decided it might be best if Sophie didn't attend. For a second, I didn't move. It was like the room stopped. Wait, what? It's going to be a really formal event, she rushed on. Lots of people, loud music, a long ceremony. We're worried she might get overwhelmed, and honestly, we just can't have any disruptions. You understand, right? Sophie, my sweet girl with Down syndrome, was now balancing a block on top of her tower, completely unaware of the storm building around her. She was loving, joyful, gentle, and yes, big crowds sometimes stressed her out. But she was also my child. My heart, you're uninviting my 6-year-old daughter from your wedding. We're not uninviting her, Emily insisted. We just think it would be better if she stayed home. You can still come. Mom said she'd babysit. I froze. You asked Mom to babysit so I could come without my daughter? Lisa, don't be dramatic, she snapped. It's just, Sophie isn't really normal enough for this type of event. Brian's family is very traditional. His grandmother will be there. We just want everything to look perfect. Not normal enough. The words hit like a slap. I see, I whispered. So you understand? You'll come alone? No, Emily, I said quietly but firmly. If my daughter isn't welcome, then neither am I. You're being ridiculous, she argued. It's my wedding. And she's my daughter, I replied. Your niece, your family. But clearly you don't see it that way. I hung up before she could say anything else. For almost an hour, I sat on the couch in silence while Sophie played nearby, stacking and restacking her blocks, the picture of innocent joy. Eventually she walked over with her favorite stuffed elephant and pressed it into my hands. Mama, sad? She asked softly. A little bit, sweetheart, but I'm okay. Hug helps, she said, climbing into my lap, her tiny arms wrapped around me, and something inside me settled into place. If Emily didn't want Sophie at her wedding, then Sophie deserved something better, something filled with people who actually cared about her. So I grabbed my phone and started calling the people who did. My cousin Amanda picked up almost immediately. Lisa, what's going on? Did you hear about Emily's guest list? You mean Sophie? Yeah, Mom told me. I was furious. I almost called you. I'm not going, I said. Instead, I'm throwing a party here. Same day, for Sophie. You want to come? Amanda didn't even pause. Absolutely. What time? 2 o'clock. Wedding starts at 4. Come early. Bring the kids. And with that, the plan began to build. In the next 2 hours, I called 15 people: my brother, James, my aunt Carol, my best friend Nicole, Sophie's occupational therapist, parents from her adaptive dance class. Every call was short and simple. I'm having a celebration for Sophie on June 10th. Want to come? Every single one said yes. Many already knew what Emily had done. Some were angry. More were heartbroken. 20 minutes after talking to him, James called me back. Lisa, I talked to Megan. We're not going to Emily's wedding. What she did is unforgivable. We'll be at your place instead. You don't have to. Yes, I do, he said firmly. Sophie is family. Emily needs to learn you don't treat people like that. Especially a child. By evening, 23 people had confirmed. I didn't tell Sophie the truth. I only told her, we're having a party for you because you're wonderful. Her face lit up instantly. A party for me? For you, I smiled. Can we have pink lemonade? We can have anything you want. A week before June 10th, my mom called. Lisa, Emily is very upset. Half the family isn't coming. That's their choice, I said calmly. But you're having a party on the same day, she said sharply. You're trying to ruin her wedding. I'm celebrating my daughter. The one Emily said wasn't good enough, I replied. She didn't mean it like that. Then how did she mean it, Mom? When she said Sophie wasn't normal enough? Silence stretched. You could have been the bigger person, she finally said. I am being the bigger person, I said. I'm showing Sophie she matters. That she doesn't have to make herself smaller just so someone else can feel comfortable. Mom sighed heavily. Your father and I will be at the wedding. But we'll stop by your house first. That's your decision, I said. She hung up without another word. June 10th arrived warm and bright. Almost like the universe itself wanted Sophie to shine. We decorated the backyard with pink and purple streamers, her favorite colors. We baked cupcakes together the night before, and Sophie piled sprinkles onto each one like she was decorating treasure. She wore her butterfly dress and twirled around the yard, making the skirt flutter like wings. Her laughter filled the air. The first guests arrived at 1:30. Amanda and her family, carrying gifts even though I told everyone not to. Then James and Megan came, followed by Nicole and her daughter from dance class. By 2 o'clock, our house buzzed with life. Sophie's therapist brought adaptive games. Aunt Carol arrived with a karaoke machine. James set up speakers in the backyard. By 3 o'clock, 35 people had gathered. The backyard overflowed with chatter, music, and children racing around in the sunshine. Sophie danced, giggled, played games, and soaked up every bit of attention. My parents arrived at 3:15. Dad scooped Sophie into a long hug. Mom kissed her but barely met my eyes. They stayed exactly 20 minutes before leaving for the wedding. By 4 o'clock, the exact moment Emily's wedding began, our party was in full swing. Kids ran through sprinklers. Adults played cornhole. Someone started a karaoke contest. Sophie and her friends put on a dance show with dramatic bows and improvised costumes. What began as a quiet protest became something else entirely, a celebration of love without conditions. A reminder that normal meant nothing. That Sophie deserved to be seen, not hidden. Around 6 o'clock, my phone buzzed. Emma, who went to the wedding, texted, "This is awful. The place is huge and almost empty, maybe 30 people total." Then Uncle Steve messaged, "We left, can we still come?" He arrived 15 minutes later with his wife and children. Then more relatives showed up, leaving the wedding early. By 7 o'clock, more than 50 people filled our home and yard. The party that was supposed to be a tiny alternative had become the real event. Sophie, exhausted but glowing, fell asleep on the couch by 7:30, surrounded by people who adored her. At 8 o'clock, while cleaning up with a few friends, headlights swept across the driveway. Emily's car. My stomach twisted. James stepped closer. "Want me to handle it?" "No," I said. "I've got it." I walked outside. Emily stepped out still wearing her wedding dress. Her makeup was smeared. Her hands trembled as she clutched something. "Emily!" She couldn't speak. Tears streamed down her face. Finally, she held out what she carried, the wedding guest book. From where I stood, I could see most pages were nearly blank. 47 people, she whispered. We invited 247. Only 47 came. I didn't speak. Brian's parents kept asking where everyone was. His grandmother made snide comments about how we must not have real friends. The photographer had to hide all the empty spaces. The caterer had mountains of leftover food. She swallowed painfully. "Lisa, I ruined my own wedding. I excluded a 6-year-old child because I wanted everything perfect. Instead, I showed everyone the kind of person I am. Someone who cares more about appearances than family. Someone who said her niece wasn't normal enough." She looked past me at the backyard, still glowing with lights, still alive with the warmth of a party that hadn't died down. "Your party looked beautiful," she whispered. "I drove by earlier. I saw all the cars. I heard the laughter. I saw Sophie dancing. And I realized I chose perfection over love, judgment over acceptance. And I lost everything that mattered." I stood there, holding her wedding guest book, its empty pages reflecting everything she now regretted. "Brian and I had a huge fight," she continued. "He blamed me for the empty room. His mother said we should have eloped. Our first dance was in front of 20 people. In a hall built for 300. It was humiliating." She sniffed, wiping at her cheeks. What do you want from me? Emily? She opened her mouth, but only one sentence came out, broken, soft, and heavy. I don't know. She wiped her face, smearing her makeup further forgiveness. Understanding. I don't deserve either. I couldn't go home without coming here, without telling you that you were right, that I was wrong. That Sophie is perfect technically as she is, and I'm the one who's not good enough. James joined me, seeing Emily's distress. I'm so sorry, Emily said to both of us. I'm so sorry too, Sophie. I'm sorry, I let my insecurity and my need for some imaginary perfect day make me cruel. I'm sorry I heard the sweetest kid in our family because I was worried about what Brian's grandmother would think. What does Brian think now? James asked quietly. He's furious. We're barely speaking. His family left right after dinner. They said they were embarrassed. He said I'd humiliated him by making our family hate us. He doesn't understand that this isn't about him. It's about me being terrible. We stood in my driveway, the three of us. Music still drifted from the backyard where a few friends remained. Through the window, I could see Sophie still asleep on the couch, peaceful and loved. I didn't expect you to forgive me, Emily said. I don't expect Sophie to ever forget that I excluded her. I just needed you to know that I understand what I did and that seeing all those empty seats at my wedding was the clearest message the universe could have sent me. What message was that? I asked. That when you choose appearance over people, you end up with nothing real, nothing that matters. Just empty chairs and a guest book with 47 signatures instead of 200. She handed Meth guest book like she was passing over evidence of her own failure. I should go, she said. Brian's probably wondering where I am. Not that he's worried about me, just about what else might go wrong today. Emily, wait. She turned back, hopeful. I can't tell you that everything's okay because it's not. Yet, Sophie, you hurt me. You show Meth that your love comes with conditions. Her face crumpled. But I continued, I fear serious about understanding what you did wrong. If you're genuinely willing to learn and change, then maybe someday we can work toward forgiveness. Not today. Not tomorrow, but someday. What do I need to do? Start by getting to know Sophie. Really know her. Spend time with her without treating her like a problem to be managed. Learn about Down syndrome. Understand that different doesn't mean less and never ever use that phrase not normal enough about anyone Ian. Emily nodded, tears still falling. I'll do that. All of it, I promise. And Emily, you need to figure out if you married someone who values the same things you do because Brian being angry about attendance numbers instead of understanding why people didn't come. That's a bigger problem than a poorly attended wedding. She looked down at her expensive wedding dress, the one she'd spent months goosing. I know, I've been realizing that all day. James put his hand on Emily's shoulder. Go home, think about what you really want. And when you're ready to actually be Sophie's aunt, not the person who excludes her, but the person who celebrates her, call Lisa. Emily hugged herself, shivering despite warm evening. Thank you for not just slamming the door in my face. I didn't do it for you, I said. Honestly, I did it for Sophie because someday she'd be old enough to ask why her aunt didn't want her at the wedding. And I want to be able to tell her that her aunt learned and changed and became someone worth knowing. Emily nodded and walked back to her car. She sat there for a moment before driving away, still crying. James and I stood in the driveway watching her taillights depart. That was hard, James said. Yeah, you think she actually changed? I don't know, but I gave her the roadmap. What she does with it is up to her. We walked back inside. Sophie was stirring on the couch, blinking sleepily. When she saw me, she smiled. Best party ever, Mama. I sat down next to her and pulled her close. Yeah, baby. Best party ever. Because it was. Not because we had the most people or the fanciest decorations, but because every single person there chose love over judgment. Chose Sophie over appearances. Chose what was real over what looked perfect. Emily's wedding guest book sat in my counter. A testament to what happens when you forget what actually matters. 47 signatures out of 200 invitations. Empty pages telling a story about empty priorities. But our house was full of people of laughter, of acceptance, of love. And Sophie, the little girl who wasn't normal enough for a formal wedding, had spent the day being celebrated exactly as she was, perfect, beautiful, and worthy of everything.